guys, this is Mr. Verdelli, and this time we're going to be talking about using the verb tener, which is to have. Tener, and again that means to have. Okay, so we're going to move on to the first slide. To say I have, that would be yo tengo. Yo tengo. Okay, to say you have in the informal form, that would be tú tienes. Tú tienes. The formal form of you have would be usted tiene. Usted tiene. Remember, it's really important to know when to use the formal, when to use the informal form. Again, tú tienes or usted tiene, depending on who you're talking to. To say he has, that would be él tiene. Él tiene. And finally, if you want to say she has, okay, if you're talking about Mary or Christine or whatever, that would be ella tiene. Ella tiene. Okay. To say we have, remember there is a male form and a female form of this. Okay. Male if you're talking about boys or boys and girls. Female if you're talking only about girls. Okay. So that would be nosotros tenemos. Nosotros tenemos. And the female form is nosotras tenemos. Nosotras tenemos. To say you all have, that's ustedes tienen. Ustedes tienen. And to say they have, the male form, that's ellos tienen. Ellos tienen. And the female form is ellas tienen. Ellas tienen. And just like in the we form, the they form is the same way. If you're talking about boys only, you use the male form. If you're talking about boys and girls, you also use the male form. If you're talking about girls only, that's the female form. Okay, so again, you have to know when to use the male form, when to use the male form, depending on who you're talking to. Okay, it's not that complicated. The difference is whether you use a no or an a on the pronoun. Okay, and here's some examples of some sentences. Okay, and you need to make sure you learn all these nouns, such as cars, carros. This one, you have to make sure you learn all those nouns. Yo tengo dos carros. Yo tengo dos carros. I have two cars. Again, another noun that you have to learn. Yo tengo seis camisas. You need to learn. Although most of you, I think actually you already learned how to say shirts. I have 6 shirts. Is yo tengo seis camisas. Okay. On the next one, to say pants, which you already know. Tú tienes 5 pantalones. You have 5 pants. Again, it's just a matter of putting the sentences together. Tú tienes 5 pantalones. Okay. And let me see, there's one more here. To say you have 8 pairs of shoes. Tú tienes 8 pares de zapatos. That's 8 pairs of shoes. Tú tienes 8 pares de zapatos. Okay, and again, you need to make sure you learn all those nouns. How to say dollars, you need to learn that. He has $11. Él tiene $11. Él tiene $11. Okay. To say computers, that's computadoras. Él tiene 3 computadoras. He has 3 computers. Él tiene 3 computadoras. Okay, and they're pretty easy to do. So, to say bicycle, bicicleta. Ella tiene una bicicleta. She has a bicycle. Ella tiene una bicicleta. Okay, and watches. And we learned that also, so it's not a new word for you. Ella tiene 4 relojes. She has 4 watches. Ella tiene 4 relojes. Okay, and it's really important to remember that we already learned the numbers also, so this shouldn't be that complicated. You have 7 flags. Usted tiene 7 banderas. Usted tiene 7 banderas. Okay, you have 15 books. Books is libros. Okay, usted tiene 15 libros. Usted tiene 15 libros. Okay, we have 9 lamps. That's a new word, lamps. Lámparas. Look at the accent on the first A. Nosotros tenemos 9 lámparas. Nosotros tenemos 9 lámparas. And we have 2 dogs. Nosotras, that's female form. Nosotras tenemos 2 perros. we have 2 dogs. Nosotras tenemos 2 perros. Look at the last one is nosotros tenemos 9 lámparas. We have 9 lamps, but it's the male form. This is the female form. Okay, nosotras tenemos 2 perros. Okay, so again, during the quiz, I might ask you for the male form, I might ask you for the female form. So you have to know how to use either one of them, okay? To say you all have 10 pencils. Ustedes tienen 10 lápices. Ustedes tienen 10 lápices. Okay? Ustedes tienen 4 cajas. You all have 4 boxes. That's a new word. Cajas. The J sounds like an H. Ustedes tienen 4 cajas. Okay? To say they have 6 birds. We learned that when we talk about animals before. Ellos tienen 6 pájaros. Ellos tienen 6 pájaros. Ellos is the male form. Remember, now we're going to use the female form. Ellas tienen 11 vasos. They have 11 drinking glasses or 11 glasses. Ellas tienen 11 vasos. Okay, remember that V sounds like a B. Vasos. Okay. So again, those are the things that I want you to learn for the first test on the verb to have, on the verb tener. Up to that slide, that last slide is what you're going to learn for the quiz, for quiz number 1 that you're going to take on Friday. From this point on is where you're going to practice the second week for the second quiz. Okay, so the second quiz will cover last section and this section. The first quiz will only cover up to this point. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're going to learn other ways to use tener. Okay, and this is an example right here. To say tener cuidado means to be careful. Tener cuidado. So I might ask you on the test, how do you say to be careful? You have to say tener cuidado. I also might ask you, how do you say I'm careful? And you will say yo tengo cuidado. Yo tengo cuidado. Okay, so remember there are different things I can ask you on that test. To say to be at fault, I might ask you, how do you say to be at fault? Tener la culpa. That's the infinitive. Okay, it's called the infinitive. When I say tener cuidado, tener la culpa, that means is to say it to be at fault, to be careful. Okay, so now if you want to use it in a sentence like she's at fault, ella tiene la culpa. Ella tiene la culpa. To say he is at fault, él tiene la culpa. Él tiene la culpa. Okay, if you want to say I'm at fault, yo tengo la culpa. Because remember, the I form of tener is tengo. Yo tengo la culpa. Okay, so again, this is a way for you to start using the verbs and different meanings that the word might have. Tener éxito, to be successful. In English, you don't say to have. You can say to have success, but you don't say to have successful. Okay, in Spanish you will say tener éxito. Mi hermana tiene mucho éxito. O mi hermano tiene mucho éxito. My brother is very successful. You can say I'm very successful. Yo tengo mucho éxito. Because tengo is the I form. Nosotros tenemos mucho éxito. We are very successful. Okay. You don't say we have very successful, we are very successful. Okay, so that's the difference. It's just a different way of using the verb in Spanish, so you always have to be aware of that. There are different ways to say different things. So that's why I tell you, don't learn word by word. Instead, learn what the word means. Tener frío, to be cold, okay, or to feel cold. Los muchachos tienen frío. Why do you say tienen? Because los muchachos is they. The pronoun for los muchachos, for the young guys or the guys, is they, right? If you say los muchachos tienen frío, the young men are cold, that means they are cold. So you will say los muchachos tienen frío. Los muchachos tienen frío. Okay? If you want to say las muchachas, that would be the same thing. Las muchachas tienen frío. Tener hambre, to be hungry. Los niños tienen hambre. The children are hungry. Los niños tienen hambre. Yo tengo hambre. I'm hungry. Yo tengo hambre. Okay? Tener miedo, to be afraid. El bombero no tiene miedo. The fireman is not afraid. El bombero no tiene miedo. You see how you use the negative here. You don't say el bombero tiene miedo, the fireman is afraid. El bombero no tiene miedo, the fireman is not afraid. Okay, very good. And the bombero, el bombero, the fireman, that's he. So that's why you say tiene, él tiene, el bombero no tiene. Okay, tener prisa, to be in a hurry. Mi hija, no son of the age, nunca tiene prisa. Mi hija nunca tiene prisa. My daughter is never in a hurry. Okay, mi hija nunca tiene prisa. Mi hija is she. Okay, so that's why you say tiene. She has. Ella tiene. So mi hija nunca tiene. To say, to have to do something. Okay, yo tengo que salir. I have to leave. Yo tengo que salir. That means I have to leave. Okay. Él tiene que salir. Or Pedro tiene que salir. Pedro means Peter. Peter has to go. Pedro tiene que salir. Okay. Tener razón, no tener razón. That means to be right, to be wrong. That Z, the letter Z sounds like an S. Tener razón, no tener razón. So you say tengo razón. No tienes razón. I'm right, you're wrong. Tengo razón, no tienes razón. Okay, so keep that in mind, because that's another way for you guys to use the verb as well. Okay, so let's see, let's go on to the next slide. See anything else on that slide? Well, just remember the letter H has no sound in hija. Okay, and the last one, tener sed, to be thirsty. Remember, los camellos no tienen sed. Remember, to be hungry, you also say tener hambre. Okay, remember, the children are hungry, los niños tienen hambre. Here is the camels are not thirsty, aren't thirsty. Los camellos no tienen sed. Okay, the camels are thirsty. If they are thirsty, you say los camellos tienen sed. Okay, but in Spanish, technically, where you're saying the camels not have thirst. Okay, or do not have thirst. But you don't say that in English when you translate it, right? Because that wouldn't make any sense. You would say they're not thirsty. Okay, los camellos no tienen sed. Okay. And let me see. To be lucky, tener suerte. Los ganadores tienen suerte. The winners are lucky. That G, ga, like in gato, cat. Los ganadores tienen suerte. The winners are lucky. Okay. Very good. That was the last slide. Oh yeah, these pictures, that kind of remind me of some of you guys, especially early in the morning. I think we've seen people. Yeah, I've seen people like that. I know. Okay, I know. All right. Yes. Okay. So we all seen people like that early in the morning. So we're just gonna read this really quickly. Go through them one more time. Yo tengo, tú tienes, usted tiene, él tiene, ella tiene. Okay, remember the double L sounds like a Y, so that's something to keep in mind. Nosotros tenemos, nosotras tenemos, ustedes tienen, ellos tienen, ellas tienen. Okay, yo tengo 2 carros, yo tengo 6 camisas, tú tienes 5 pantalones, tú tienes 8 pares de zapatos. 8 pares de zapatos. Él tiene $11, él tiene 3 computadoras, ella tiene una bicicleta, ella tiene 4 relojes, usted tiene 7 banderas, usted tiene 15 libros, nosotros tenemos 9 lámparas, nosotras tenemos 2 perros. Okay, again, the last one is the female form. Ustedes tienen 10 lápices, ustedes tienen 4 cajas, ellos tienen 6 pájaros, ellas tienen 11 pasos. Okay. Other uses of tener cuidado, yo tengo cuidado, tener la culpa, ella tiene la culpa, tener éxito, mi hermano tiene mucho éxito. Okay, notice the accent of the word éxito. Entonces éxito, éxito. Okay, because the accent is on the E. Tener frío, Notice the accent on the I. Tener frío, tener hambre. Okay. Oh, the last sentence, by the way, was los muchachos tienen frío. Tener hambre, los niños tienen hambre. Tener miedo, to be afraid. El bombero no tiene miedo. El bombero tiene miedo. The fireman is afraid. El bombero no tiene miedo. The fireman is not afraid. Tener prisa, to be in a hurry. Tener prisa. Mi hija nunca tiene prisa. To have to. Yo tengo que salir. I have to leave. Yo tengo que salir. Tener razón, no tener razón. To be right or to be wrong. Okay. Tengo razón, no tienes razón. Tengo razón is I'm right. No tienes razón is you're wrong. Okay. I'm sure you guys heard that before from some adults in your life. Tener sed, to be thirsty. Los camellos no tienen sed. To say the camels are thirsty, you would say los camellos tienen sed. Tener suerte, okay, to be lucky. Los ganadores tienen suerte. Okay. What if you want to say the winners are not lucky? You would say los ganadores no tienen suerte. Los ganadores no tienen suerte. So remember, you always stick that no before the have. Okay. Okay. Los camellos no tienen sed. Los ganadores no tienen suerte. Okay, the winners are not lucky. Of course, los ganadores tienen suerte. Okay, the winners are lucky. So you guys know that. Okay. So, anyways, thank you for watching the video. I hope it helps you. Remember, you have 2 weeks worth of work over here. So worry about the first one up to that last slide that has the nouns, and then the sentences is something you will have to learn for the second for the second week worth of work. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So you guys take care. Let me know how you like it.